There's something brewing over at Nintendo, a secret new playtest that's leaked out into the public. We're going to talk about what we know. Then our case this week has to do with young children. When should you expose them to heavy metal music? We'll figure it out. Stay tuned. What you are listening to is real. The parties involved are not cool. They are actual geeks with a case pending in the court of public opinion. The party's case has been dismissed, and the dispute will be settled here on our podcast. There will be no lawyers. There will be no witness testimony. The judge's decisions are final.
Hello, I'm Judge Ivan.
I'm Judge Jonathan, and this is Geeks on Trial. Today's case, Slipknot the Mama.
Welcome to Geeks on Trial. This is the podcast where we settle petty disputes between actual geeks over movies, video games, board games, and more. If you'd like to submit your own geeky case for a future episode, you can email us at geeksontrial@gmail.com. And if you'd like to help support the show, and I wish you would, head on over to patreon.com/geeksontrial. Hello, my good, friend Jonathan. How are you?
Oh, hello, my guy I see sometimes, Ivan. And hello, listeners and viewers. Please support us over at Patreon. We would like it so much if you did.
I'll support us so we just never do that again.
I'm going to do that every minute until somebody
gives us
$500.
Oh, an episode or just in general? Because $500 isn't a lot right now with this economy. Am I right?
I was thinking with inflation from like the 1800s.
Oh,
so it would be a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
You could buy a lot of things with that.
True. One thing you could buy, for instance, a new Nintendo Switch.
Oh, they were out then. Nintendo's making
OLED.
Cards. Oh, one OLED, please.
One OLED, please.
Let's
start with today's story because we're going to talk about some news before our case, which of course we're going to get to. It's another one from the world of Nintendo, and kind of an intriguing one.
Very intriguing.
Because people may not know, but last week, Nintendo put out a little secret invitation. Well, the invitation wasn't secret. The invitation was open to anyone on the internet, but it was a first-come, first-served basis, so not a lot of people got it. I think they limited it to like 10,000 participants, which sounds like a lot, but they went away in like 5 seconds.
Right.
I did not get in case you're wondering. I actually forgot and didn't try.
I didn't know about it, so.
Well, there you go. That makes both of us not in it. But that's okay, because at the time, Nintendo did not tell anyone what this was for. They said they want players to test some kind of new software on the Switch. You would be downloading a roughly 2 gigabyte file, and they asked participants not to share the details of what it was. Of course, they didn't need to sign an NDA or anything like that, so legally, nothing is stopping them from sharing details and share details they have. Now, when this episode goes out, I think will be the first day of people actually getting to play some of this stuff. So even more details may come out by then, but right now, all we know is kind of a description, and we've seen some visuals of what these things look like. Right. And we're going to talk about them. So if you don't want to be spoiled about secret Nintendo plans, don't listen.
Then move on. But still give us $5 so we can buy the game.
Yeah. We'll pay $5 or we will spoil it for you. Right. We'll find your email
so
and send it to you.
So the information that is out now that we got to read, that the internet has given us, is this all official information, or is this another Nintendo leak?
Well, it's official from Nintendo, but it was only given to the people in the playtest.
Okay, so Nintendo they didn't have people sign an NDA, so this is kind of like...
Correct.
Nintendo didn't say, don't share this, but they didn't say not to.
They did say, don't share this.
They just
didn't legally say you will be punished if you share this. They said, please don't share this.
Oh, and people were like, yeah, wink, wink, we won't share any of this.
Well, they had to know on some level.
Right.
You cannot, with a test of 10,000 people, there's impossible for you to keep that contained.
It's also chance. 10,000 public. It's not like, it's 10,000 special
it's not press.
It's not anybody like that. No, it's the general public.
Randoms.
There's probably some kids in there. There's probably some like this would be the scoop that people are going to have to stream and get in on this. Like, this is like the YouTube and streamers mecca right here when they get this information.
I don't know. Like once it's on streaming or something, they might be able to take those videos down
Right.
if it's like through Twitch or YouTube. But the info is gonna get out, or like a video not on one of those platforms will still exist somewhere. I'm
100%.
sure.
Now, have people been able to play it yet or go into
As I
it?
said, not
first, or-
in our current time. No, when
So,
this episode's released,
Any
yes.
images that we saw were Nintendo images.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No human players have actually recorded. All we know is from Nintendo. But anyway, for people who don't know, the gist of what it is we've learned. So there were a lot of rumors. People thought that maybe the biggest speculation was that this was going to be some kind of test to stream GameCube games, like for cloud gaming, but that turned out to be completely not true. Instead, it sounds like Nintendo is working on or making some kind of essentially an MMO-like game, an online, massively multiplayer game in which you have a shared world and you have a space within your world where you can create stuff, and then you can also move into other people's worlds and help develop these planets that you're on. It sounds vague because it is. We don't know a ton about it yet, but it sounds sort of like a Minecraft, Roblox kind of thing, not tied as far as we know right now to any IP, so it's not like Mario's Block World or something.
Right.
It's kind of just generic stuff.
Which I was surprised the stuff that we've seen is very just like they kind of just found sprites online. Like it doesn't really have the Nintendo anything to it. Like it's kind of like blobby kind of character creation and some world stuff. This seems like I have a few questions. This seems like this would be the perfect Animal Crossing thing. Like why wouldn't have like Animal Crossing has literally done this, maybe not MMO style, but like you can go to my island, I can go to your island, we can go to different towns, different cities. So like you would think this would be the perfect setup for a Animal Crossing style game in this kind of world. Like it's just the next progression.
There's three possibilities here as I see it. Number one is this is just a placeholder that they're not ready to reveal what this game actually is. And when it's actually going to come out, then we'll find out all these graphics are replaced with Yoshi or whoever the hell it is. Because they do that a lot with, like, a lot of times the Nintendo, if you read about the development of their games, they'll come up with gameplay ideas before they even decide, like, oh, I think maybe this is for Mario or something.
Which makes sense. They want to make sure the mechanics and the systems and the servers all work before they spend money creating new characters or new versions of old characters for this.
Like, I think maybe that ARMS maybe start out as a Punch-Out game or something, or I think there's a lot of stories to this if you look them up. The second possibility is that, what was the second possibility? What was the first one again? I forget. I'm already lost. I have three things to say.
The first one is a skin for something else that could be...
Right. The second one is that there's not even a game at all. That they're testing online framework. And this is like a demo, like a tech demo they made just to see about making MMOs. Maybe they have an MMO that's somewhere else, and but this isn't it. This is their side thing just to check it out.
And this kind of makes sense because, like, back in the day, you would test this kind of in a back room at like E3, but we really don't have or need these kind of big halls anymore, where it's like, oh, we could just invite 10,000 people online. If you're one of the lucky 10,000.
And when you're Nintendo, who doesn't have a long history with big online games, if they're trying to do something online with thousands, hundreds of thousands potentially of people, they need to figure out a way to test that. The third option, I think, is that this is genuinely, this is a new game and a new IP, and maybe this is kind of what it looks like, which I also wouldn't be shocked by. You know, you say it doesn't look too Nintendo-y, and I get what you mean by that, but they do things sometimes like look at Wii Fit or Ring Fit Adventure. They'll do things sometimes where it's just a kind of a, or even Nintendogs, like they're trying to be more of a mass market.
And they want to expand and get to not be the, oh, you're a Nintendo, you're the cutesy crowd, you're the, you know, like they want to expand their IP as Nintendo. and do other things, because that's what they basically do when they buy other companies as well.
Alarm clocks, what have you.
Right. This seems cool. Just in like true Nintendo fashion, this is like a couple years behind for Nintendo.
A couple.
Well, like 40.
20.
But didn't they like? Isn't that what Splatoon is in a way? Is
Well,
Splatoon
yes, but
not MMO?
No, because Splatoon, like the difference is all instances of multiplayer in Splatoon you're timed to like 5 minutes, and you enter a room with 4 people, and then you leave the room with 4 people. And I think it's also all based on players' servers. I don't know exactly how it works. It's like your Wi-Fi connection determines the strength. Right. I guess that's true. I don't know enough about the internet. Right. But like is like, wow, this is like
amazing. Oh,
yeah, exactly. Man. This is like you would have thousands of people all constantly online all the time. And they've really never done that before.
And that's something new that if you don't do it right and you release something like this, people will tear your company apart by doing this, because like this is something that like WoW has been doing since like the 90s maybe, and there's other companies that like
early 2000s.
And World of Warcraft is early 2000s.
World of Warcraft, yeah.
Oh, but Warcraft, sure. I get, yeah. But like, so like there's been infrastructure that these companies have been doing for years, so people kind of have like a certain expectation when it comes to an MMO when it comes out. So I think it's really smart for Nintendo to be testing it in this kind of fashion, and by doing it to only 10,000 non-quote-unquote insider people, like nobody in the media, tech, gaming industry, you can kind of get the vibes from everyone. And also, I don't know if it's worldwide these 10,000 went out, or just US, just Japan, just whatever. But you can also test, okay, so somebody has crappy Wi-Fi at home. How's this going to work, scale on that level versus, most media people are going to have decent internet because most people like that work from home now and stream and do this kind of stuff. So it's like, it's cool that they are doing it for the public, the general public, that is.
Yeah, I'm very curious what it is. It's possible that this is something we will see on the next console, like an official version of it. I mean, at this point, I think we're all assuming / hoping that the next console will come out mid-year next year.
But is this being played? So this is on the, like, currently they're playing this on the Switch.
Yeah,
okay, I wasn't sure if it was like they're letting people use online because it's a different, like PCs, because it's a different thing.
No, yeah, it's all contained on the Switch. That's all there. But probably by the time you're seeing this episode,
we'll know
that you'll be able to find like video and firsthand impressions from people of what this is like.
Now I can
I'd
also
be curious if people. I'd be curious, as I say, if people, everyone just thought their podcast died. I'd be curious if once that comes out, if we can read it and be like, oh, this kind of sounds like a Zelda game or something. Like, oh, you have a stick and you collect gems,
Or the more we see like gameplay, it's like, okay, that mechanic kind of looks like this, or it's like if it's more of a collecting thing, like bells and animal, like,
Sure.
I can see that going on. But I could also see Nintendo going like complete opposite of what everybody thinks and be like, nope, this is a new phone game. Because like they've done weird things like that before.
They're weird.
Which would kind of make sense in a sense. But like, yeah, I'm just, we don't know a lot. We just know that they're kind of doing this whole thing. Is there any IP that you would like to see personally in this kind of world? For me, I think Animal Crossing.
Yeah. The two that make the most sense and how it would work is a much longer discussion, but Animal Crossing and Pokemon are the two. I don't think there's really anything else that makes sense from Nintendo for massively online. Those are the two obvious ones.
Or Splatoon 4.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
I don't know.
To make it an MMO? You're constantly, there's a world where you're just painting everything.
Yes.
Or, I mean, they do have they have technically own Xenoblade, which is an RPG, which could make sense. They could throw a curveball. But I mean, I don't think that's what this is. If this is any IP, maybe it's Animal Crossing.
But I
think if it's an original one, probably.
It could be original. Also, something that popped in my head, it's like some sort of Mario Maker that's like an open world, like basically Minecraft, but Mario Maker in a way.
I mean, you could slap Mario on anything, so that's kind of a catch-all. Like,
right.
Yeah, it could just be Mario's block world, like I said, whatever it is. They want that Minecraft money is what this really is.
Which
I think
I get because Minecraft just hit 20th anniversary or something ridiculous like this, and Minecraft has been on the Switch in some form or another. It's been on everything basically, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. Hopefully, it's something like an Animal Crossing because it just kind of makes sense to do open world like that. But I would love to see, truthfully, a brand new IP come out of the world of Nintendo because they usually pull something off, and it's usually either cute or fun. I just hope it's something that lasts a while and isn't like, oh, we tried this after a year, we're good. Because they do pull some stuff like that occasionally with online stuff.
Maybe this will be the new Miiverse. Maybe this will be on Switch too.
Honestly,
the pack-in. That's what your system is.
Huh?
That's
a thing. That's a thing.
That's a thought.
But we'll have to wait until there's actual information about it, which would be.
We can only speculate now. We may not hear about any of this, like a final version of this, for years to come,
or if ever.
If ever, it might never surface in any real way. Although, if they're getting to the point where they're asking, this is because they've never asked strangers to do something like this before. They must be confident they got something brewing,
something going, something.
We can speculate, but we should get into some real hard facts.
Oh yeah. Well, okay.
And when I say hard facts, I'm talking about today's case, which comes to us from the internet. You can find a link in our episode description. Our defendant today is Judy.
That's a hard.
Judy is a young aunt with an even younger nephew. He's about 4 years old. Said nephew is starting to get into music, and Judy is a little annoyed because the kid's parents only like to listen to country. So she plays him one non-explicit song by Slipknot, the heavy metal band. The parents have never explicitly told Judy not to do this, but they definitely don't approve of that kind of music in general, and she's aware of that. But Judy thinks it's important for her to be the cool aunt and to introduce her nephew to a wide range of cool music. As dual judges here on Geeks on Trial, it's now our job to determine whether Judy should put her pedal to the metal or if it feels like she's always stuck in second gear.
So I do, and I hate to do this. I liked it. Great rhyme, great ending. Yeah, it's not 4 years old. It's 4 months old.
Wait, it's 4 months old?
They said, unless that's a male.
That's male.
You think that's not 4M?
No, look right before that, 20F.
Okay.
That's Reddit speak. That's what that means.
Just wanted to make sure.
I'm here to clear up the... Yeah. Haven't you spent enough time on Reddit
I have, but
seeing
usually
these
when you
posts?
say, I don't know, because...
It's fine. Unless she is 20 fortnights old. I can't think of another unit of measurement. I think it's 20 female and 4 male.
Just
I mean, I get it. I think nephew would imply male, but it's fine. We don't need to get into gender on this show. That's our Patreon page.
That's our Patreon. Right. We expose our genders over there if you want to see.
It's mostly right-wing talk radio stuff.
100%. But if you give us more money, we'll switch sides.
We make Joe Rogan look like Malcolm X.
Huh. Well, so do you
remember when Wayne Brady made... Who did he make look like Malcolm X? I forget.
I don't know this.
Chappelle's Show, the Wayne Brady sketch.
Oh, yes. So let me ask you this question.
Okay.
You were a 4-year-old at one point in your life.
I was a 4-month-old even.
Oh, were you male? Well, yeah. I'll find that out later. Do you remember from that age at all? Like, do you have memories as a 4-year-old? Roughly. Good, bad, indifferent.
I would say outside of very fleeting, vague, kind of cobbled together images of the world.
Right.
I think the earliest I have any real memories is probably 6.
Okay, I was going to say kindergarten, so roughly 5, 6 for me. Yeah. So
yeah, I'd give you kindergarten. Yeah, maybe. Actually, I do have some. How old are you in preschool? Is that 4?
That's before kindergarten, so 4.
Yeah. So yeah, Like a little. It's hate. I think I have a few, but yeah, it's
'Cause I
hate.
do
You'd have
have
to go
some-
through therapy to figure it out.
I do have some memories, but I'm not sure if it's like, oh, I've seen that photo and I have a memory of the photo because you know how some of that stuff works. But yeah, but nothing clear. Like you can't remember any songs from when you were 4 that weren't
remember
like
some songs.
that weren't like Baby Shark or like the ones that they drill into your head in schools or whatever like that. But like
I remember the months of the year song and the planets.
our school was the Skinamarink song, Skinamarink Dinky Dink.
Skinamarink?
We
That's
used to
terrifying.
watch Skinamarink in school. I liked
Holy
it.
shit.
It soothed me. It soothed my soul.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, and like I'm just I really don't remember any like general music. I remember like from a childhood like what my parents kind of played in the car, but that's more so of like a blended like over the last like a 5-year 10-year span of like sitting in the back seat hearing generalized music. But I can't remember any like specifics really.
But maybe if you had been exposed to it more, maybe you would. Or maybe what about Mozart? They say they have like Mozart. What is it, Baby Mozart?
Baby Mozart, or they put the headphones on the belly
on the pregnant bell.
The bell, the pregnant bell,
that little preg bell.
Preg bell.
Yeah. Supposedly that's good for the children. So maybe music. I mean, I think there's a lot of studies that may or may not be bullshit. I have no idea that show that music can affect kids at a young age.
Well,
I mean, I don't know if types of music, but like just generally listening
Well, I
to
think
music.
this week screen time bad, music good. Next week it might be music bad, screen time good. It depends every week on what podcaster tells a parent to do something or TikToker. So yeah.
Yeah. What are we telling the parents to do? Because they're all listening.
Don't have children.
Put them back in.
Put them back in. Whoop. That's the sound.
Get them back in there.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, I don't I guess I'm the same way. Like I'm trying to think of what the earliest types of music I was exposed to. I'm gonna keep saying using the phrase "exposed to," which we all just need to move past it.
Right.
But
what other words would you say?
The Beatles were big in my household. This is an interesting thing to get into, like what kind of music our parents liked that we heard. The Beatles, I feel like for whatever reason, my parents would play. They both liked the Eagles, so
it's
Hotel California
because
got
our
a lot
parents
of play.
are roughly the same age, give or take one parent or another. Okay, our moms are the same age.
Well said.
Our moms are the same age.
Well said.
As
are we.
My dad was into he liked the Grateful Dead. That I remember. Eagles were definitely a big thing, but I feel like Eagles was a big thing for everyone that age.
Yeah, it's dad rock and mom rock.
Right. Beatles, Monkees would come on occasionally.
Oh, Monkees. My mom was a Monkees fan. Sure, yeah.
But usually that genre of music, nothing we
classic rock.
Yeah, classic rock. Well, classic now. I guess it was classic then, but nothing.
They still call it that.
Nothing we didn't do operas or classical music really. That wasn't a thing in our household. They liked radio, basically top 40 or the hits classic radio from back in the day.
Yeah. I think that's probably accurate for most people our age.
Yeah.
I think that's a common millennial thing. I'm sure there are some. I mean, at least I should say the common millennial suburban experience.
Right.
Because that's more likely what you're going to find there, as opposed to the heavy metal.
Now, I did have. I'm the baby of my family, so I did have 2 sisters. My one sister is 13 years older than I am. So I did get a lot of their so that's where I would get into some rap and some hip hop and some. My sister was
sounded cool when you said those words.
My sister was a big Bon Jovi fan, or is, I guess. So there's some Bon Jovi in the family.
She's still around.
So I get some of that influence because I do have. I mean, you have an older sibling as well, but I have a little bit older than.
Yeah. Right. So that's kind of the mid. So you had Gen X and Boomer.
Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah, right. Where I don't know today. I mean, so I have a niece and nephew, as people may know, if they've been stalking me.
They have.
If you're stalking me, you might not know. You'd have to stalk them. They live far away.
Oh.
But and I have been around them listening to music. I mean, when I was a kid, we'd also listen to like, Raffi,
Right. There's the
of
kids'
course,
music.
the kids stuff.
Stuff. I actually, I got into a few of the bands that I enjoy now. Like They Might Be Giants because of like cartoons that we used to watch, like Tiny Toon Adventures. Would
But
have.
that's got to be closer to like 8 or 9, don't you think? That's not really as young, right?
Yeah, I guess
I think
so. Yeah, I was kind of blending those, but you're right. Like, I'm trying to think of some of the cartoons or not like the shows we used to watch as small children that had musical influences on me.
I mean, a lot of those, I don't know, Nick Jr. had
Right.
probably sang a lot. Sesame Street. I definitely listened to some Sesame Street
Yeah, I had
tapes.
some Sesame Street albums.
Schoolhouse Rock. I did have some of
Yeah,
that.
that was fun. Yeah, which I still will
That's a
hum
thing.
and stuff now. But yeah,
Sure,
that
some
was
of them are
about
bangers.
that was our general things. But like if you think about it too, a lot of the songs that we sang or knew as kids, like Sesame Street and stuff, were also stuff that our parents did because there was not that big of a generational gap on stuff that was around because Sesame Street has been around for like 700 years at this point, and a lot of it was like blended across generations, which it's kind of interesting to think about now. There's stuff that's like I have no idea what some of this stuff is.
Right. The people often comment on how there's much more diversity now in terms of you have way more access to billions of different songs
Right.
versus like the number one CD in 1998 was the CD everyone in the world had.
Or very regional radio that didn't go
Mm.
very far,
Yeah,
But we
yeah, yeah.
we weren't a big like, we didn't do country music, we didn't do stuff like that. MTV I guess was on because of my siblings, but can't really remember any of that either.
That's still for me more when I was a teenager than I remember MTV existing. But yeah, country music wasn't a thing for me either, even though my mom does like country music. I don't remember ever anyone playing it. So that didn't seep
That was
into
one of
me.
your father's rules. He was like, absolutely not. Nope.
Yeah, 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 yeah. My niece and nephew, they do they now have millennial parents.
Mm-hmm.
So I do know they're exposed to, once again, Taylor Swift. I don't know. I'm sure they play other stuff, but I know they know Taylor Swift. They know a lot of that.
Right.
And then other than that, it's mostly like nowadays kids just go on YouTube and they have a million channels that are making $8 billion a day that are just like finger puppets that are like, I'm a little puppet number one, doobly doo for 10 minutes and they make $18,000 a minute.
Well, that's another interesting thing I wanted to bring up was we had more like real music, quote unquote, from like, classic rock bands like that. Where I think ever since like you mentioned Baby, what was the Baby?
Shark.
No, the
Beluga.
video that they were putting the Baby Mozart or stuff like that. Baby Einstein was a TV thing. Like we didn't really
Sinclair.
have that kind of like the bluey very like we had focused TV shows, but I feel like now the music is like your child can only listen to this. It has to be this,
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, if you, there were specific, like you could buy tapes and CDs and records and tape and VHS tapes for kids. And
Right.
so you would watch a lot of that. But in terms of general, like if you're watching TV, there's only certain places to go or even the radio. Radio Disney did become a thing when we were kids, but which now doesn't, I don't think it exists anymore.
They might have a Sirius channel or something, but
I don't know. But now it's like kids, you just go on YouTube or even Disney Plus or Netflix or Spotify or just ask Alexa. Sorry, everyone. And you get hours and hours and hours of endless children's content, and they'll never hear adult music ever.
oddly specific. Like if you want your children to learn a different language, you can have the music in that language and specific things. Whereas like for us, we had Channel 13, which was like PBS Kids. We had Nick Jr., Disney Channel. That was basically the three outlets for kids programming. And like Nick Jr. ended at like 2. Then we just had regular Nickelodeon. PBS stuff was kind of just in the morning. So it's like it was very limited, minus VHS tapes, which we had tons of. It was very limited the amount of kids content that was coming out, which is, you're right. Now it's like everybody makes some kind of children's content for the good or bad.
Yeah, we mark all our videos as for kids on YouTube.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It makes us a lot more money that way.
A lot more money.
Kids love us.
Now,
They
so
think
you
we're
say,
like clowns of
that's
some
true.
kind.
Well, they see my hair and they're like, "Oh, it's a clown." So, do you your niece and nephew? Because that's really the only tie into children that I have. Do they
Yeah, those little shits.
watch anything older? So it's like, when I was a kid, we watched older Sesame Street. We watched like, Marx Brothers things. Even that like maybe but like we had more like I remember like when I was like 4
Sure.
watching I Love
Yeah,
Lucy.
yeah.
Like
Right,
stuff
right.
like that where it's like I feel like a lot of content now for the youth is brand new content constantly.
I do think, I don't know about you. For 4, I think is a little too. I still was not. I don't think I was until I was maybe 7 or 8 that I was watching like Nick at Night kind of older stuff. So this is, my niece and nephew are like 4 and 6 or 5 and 6. So it's they're not. I don't think they're quite at that stage yet. In
Mhm.
terms of like older stuff, they know Disney movies, so they
Right.
know older Disney cartoons.
Okay.
And they definitely watched Sesame Street, but I don't know if they watched like old Sesame Street. But
It's probably
no kid
modern
watched
day.
old Sesame Street.
Yeah.
You only watched what was
What
on.
was on TV at the moment, yeah.
Yeah, if anything, now you're more likely to do that because it's on streaming. But yeah, so that's like the extent of it, probably.
But even like you
It-
mentioned Schoolhouse Rock. Schoolhouse Rock was like from the 70s.
True, but I don't think. But then, yeah, when's the last time they made or aired Schoolhouse Rock? Where did
I
that even?
had VHS tapes of it because I think my parents knew
Yeah.
it, and that was oh, Channel 7. They would always show clippets on like Saturday morning TV. It would be like a small in between commercials.
I feel like I had a CD. I feel like even when we were kids, it was kind of weird. Like it wasn't like everyone was listening
yeah.
to it.
It was definitely our parents being like, "Here, this is educational. Have some of our childhood." But that's even
Sure.
like what with like I Love Lucy and stuff. It wasn't like I was like also at 4. I don't think I was actively watching like. It was just on. I think
You were
it was,
like, I really relate to this Fred character. I
it was-
also hate my wife.
and I want to be a landlord. It was very much like
That's why you never got a wife.
it was on, and that's true. It was on in the background as like a safe.
And that's why I
Sure.
always want to play at the club.
True, always bang on your
Um,
drums.
Right. It's you're more likely to be exposed to it, say.
Right.
And how about Slipknot? Sounds like neither of us were ever heard any heavy metal growing up.
I really didn't hear any heavy metal until I went to like high school.
You have to have either a cool aunt in this case, or a cool older brother or
Or uncle.
sister. Or sure. But I think more likely
Yeah.
it's gonna be your teenage brother or sister that's gonna show that stuff to you.
Which is
And
why I think I got more of the like the rap and hip hop kind of stuff because that was like what my
you were
siblings.
adopted into a mostly African American
right.
family.
Yes, well, yeah.
That's why that explains
That explains a lot of my things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
But yeah, so I don't know. So Slipknot, neither of us, we were talking in pre-case, we were talking that neither one of us know really Slipknot. Or me personally, I don't know a lot of Slipknot. I've maybe heard a couple songs, but I can't tell you what they are.
I'm not a metal guy. We've probably talked about this before. And it's probably pretty obvious. I'm
You're
not
made of skin
I'm
and
not a metal
bones.
guy. That's
You're not a
correct.
robot.
I'm no cyborg, and nobody accused me of that ever.
What would you
It's-
say the heaviest rock is you listen to? Like Donnie and Marie?
I mean, I think Rage Against the Machine is
Okay.
is the hardest that I go, which just for some people is pretty hard. But I'm sure there's like I've dipped my toe into other bands that are go to that level. But in terms of like stuff I'm regularly consider myself an actual fan of, that's probably the
Juggalos.
deepest.
You're a big juggalo.
Sure, I am a juggalo.
Mhm.
I just like Fago.
Who doesn't? It's the best soda on the market.
And I think you're the same as me.
Yeah,
mostly.
basically. Like Rage, some Disturbed, which I guess is a
sure.
little bit heavier.
Oh,
but,
Disturbed, yeah.
but that wasn't really like when I was a kid going to like.
Oh, you know what
Oh.
sorry, go on.
No.
Go. Well, I was gonna say a
when
band
I was
that
a
I
kid
did
going
not. God damn it!
when I was a kid going into Hot Topic, that was probably the most metal music that I heard, and most of that wasn't.
A band that I did not listen to as a kid, but that I just came to appreciate somewhat recently, and I think they're pretty great. Is 9 Inch Nails.
Okay, yeah.
That can be pretty
Who's the
pretty
lead
heavy.
singer of Night? It's Trent.
Trent Reznor.
Yeah. Okay. Who we know from
Yeah.
movies and stuff as well. Not in movies. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
yeah.
But also, like,
Yeah.
we also grew up in like a very like the rock
Right.
of our time. Oh yeah, we were the very like we were like the emo music was like the music of our era, and that's the kind of
wasn't me
rabbit.
either.
That
We've
was the
talked
rabbit
about
hole
that.
I went down. Yeah, the Fall Out
Yeah.
Boy and alike. So that's
Yeah.
how hard my
You were sadder
rock
than me.
goes. Well, yeah.
I wasn't as sad.
Well,
So-
you were internally. You just didn't tell
Let
anybody.
me. I brought up some Slipknot lyrics I wanted to read just to give
Okay.
us an idea.
Well, I thought "Dip My Toe In" was one of their songs.
No, well, this was one that you shouted out, which was it's called "People Equal Shit."
Yeah.
from
I
their
often
album,
I
Iowa.
often yell that out.
So let's see. Like, here's the parental advisory warning. Here's the first verse. Come on down and see the idiot right here, too fucked to beg and not afraid to care. What's the matter with Calamity anyway, right? Get the fuck out of my face. Understand that I can't feel anything. It isn't like I want to sift through the decay. I feel like a wound, like I got a fucking gun against my head.
I feel that.
You know, stuff like that. Then they say people equal shit about
Ooh.
20 times.
That's some Shakespearean content.
Satan
you
comes
just-
up.
So this is the band that wears masks, right? Then they have. Isn't this the masked band?
Does Slipknot wear masks? I don't know. Are they the mask
I
band?
I know they're not Daft Punk.
No, they're not Daft Punk. Yeah, Slipknot wears. They do. I've
They
confirmed
do.
it visually with my eyes. They wear
They
masks.
are the masks, so they can sing whatever they want, and not get in trouble because people don't know who they are.
I think there's more than one mask band is the problem, but yes,
Well,
they
yes.
they're one of them.
So yes.
Those are some lyrics.
Bring this into the child world.
Bring this into the child.
So when I was thinking that it was 4-month-old child, I was thinking
it's
that's
a very
little-
different thing.
Well, that's a little bit safer because at that age they're just hearing the beats, the instruments, the voices, but not actually knowing what the words mean. But at 4 years old, as somebody who's been around children, either in jobs or just family, 4 years old is when they start repeating everything, and I mean everything.
That's true. That is true.
That
'Cause I was gonna-
age is
I was gonna say, I feel like most people don't even listen to the lyrics of the music they like. You
Okay.
know, other than like the chorus, if they've heard it a million times. I feel like the casual music listener, if it's not a band that they're obsessed with, they don't even care about the lyrics. A lot of people just are into it for the
it's a
beat.
background music, it's a beat,
Something to
it's
dance
a
to.
vibe, it's a yeah.
Yeah, they don't. So part of me was going to argue there's a chance this kid doesn't even understand, or also, if you listen to a Slipknot song, I don't know if the lyrics are even intelligible, because often
It
these
could be
heavy metal songs,
right,
yeah, it's screaming, hoarse throat. You don't know what the hell they're talking about, even if you tried listening to it.
So it's when you
But-
read those lyrics and go, oh.
Right, but it is true. I think that kids do tend to soak up stuff like that more than parents, and it's definitely going to happen that they're going to listen to things like
Now,
that. and
this kind of just
regurgitate
popped
it.
in my head, and I feel like you might have realized this around the same time I did. We watched as a young child, maybe between the ages of newborn and 8, the movie Grease.
Porn. Oh,
And Grease was always like a
I can assure you, I was not thinking about the movie Grease. So
Okay.
continue.
I mean, well, like kind of not family friendly, but not anything offensive. Until later on in life, I looked up the lyrics for one of the songs, and they just say the chicks will cream, grease lightning, and it was one of those things where I'm like, oh, that's not what I was singing, but oh no, because
It's
you're
a
right,
little,
it's one of those
weird.
vibey like things where it's like you're just kind of like taking your kid to school, throw on the Grease soundtrack, or where the DJ's at a summer camp and you put it on.
Right. Or you take it outside of music, any like a movie like Shrek or something.
Right.
There's the jokes for the adults that fly over the kids' heads,
Right.
and it's fine.
Which
Now they're not talking about bullets in their head and being fucked to death or whatever.
Right.
But
no, that they
you know.
saved that for Nick at Night. Now, so like,
Mm-hmm.
so there is there's a certain age that they just start mimicking everything. I'm sure you've dealt with this with niece and nephew and stuff, where it's like they won't say something until you say something that's like, oh, that's wrong. And it's like, oh, no,
Right.
they're just walking around.
That's what they'll
saying fuck.
learn.
Okay, great. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
So I feel like, there is a certain age to where this works. Like I was saying, if they're not like talking yet, or if they're not talking actual sentences and like real words, then like any kind of music kind of works because they're not grasping or copying what this kind of thing is. Now, we also don't know what song she chose. She could have found the cleanest song that they have in their repertoire.
Mm-hmm.
And
she said non-explicit. That was stated.
So
I don't know if that's an edited radio version or just a song that just happens to not have swear words.
That's
in it.
another subject, because there's a lot of songs for years that I only knew the radio edit to. And then I'd be singing and somebody would be like, that's not the lyrics. And I'm like, oh, on, PST when I was a kid, that was the version they played. So I think my whole thing is if they're able to play it, or the version that you have can be played on a public radio station, I think it's okay to let a kid listen to, because I think there's certain, I don't know how it is now, but certain radio guidelines, you can't just curse on a radio song because like, somebody could have that on in their car and a kid's walking by it and can hear it. So there is some of that, things that pop into my head. I wasn't really a lot of times like told you can't listen to this as a kid. There'd be some things where my mom had to like listen to first to make sure. But we were more so of like, okay, this word means something not great. Don't repeat it, to an extent.
I don't know if because I know we've talked about like movies and stuff when we were kids, but we weren't allowed to watch. I don't know if we've ever talked about music as much on this show, but I wasn't really. My sister's the one who was cooler than me, who was like wanting to listen to Eminem and stuff, right. And I didn't. I was like, I like Weird Al Yankovic. Right. But the first one that I remember was Tenacious D, of being like, oh, this is a no, like I wanted it so bad after hearing Tribute or whatever on Napster. And that's like, I can't listen to this around the folks, right. type of a music. But, that's as far as I ever went in terms of wanting explicit songs.
And it's also a lot different now, because back in the day, we either heard the radio versions, which most of the time were very clean, or we had to go to a store and pick up the album. Before the whole Napster thing.
5-finger discount.
And our parents, if they had a parental advisory on it, your parents had to approve that, or else they wouldn't sell it to you. Where I feel like now with like YouTube,
or you find the shady store where they'll sell it to you, whatever.
Well, yeah, but now it's like, it's easier for a kid to kind of get into anything, because like unless they have YouTube, what's it called, YouTube Kids or YouTube Kid account, and stuff is blocked, you can kind of just access really any lyrics because YouTube doesn't have a cursing ban.
Forget YouTube. If most households, a kid just has to say out loud, "Hey, play a song for me," and whatever device will do it. They're not even today's 4-year-olds to 10-year-olds don't even have a concept of typing in a search. They just tell their robot to do it.
Just yell and music. Give me music. Give me it now. So yeah. So I feel so the aunt playing this for the child, I don't think is a huge issue as long as it was a radio edit, a cleaner song. Just because you played the kid one Slipknot song doesn't mean they're going to go out and like, murder people. But if the mother previously told the aunt no, then I do think you need to respect the wishes of the parent, because at the end of the day, the parent is the be all end all in this child's life.
As far as we know, according to the case, the most that they said was that music is weird, but they have not explicitly said, do not play that for my child.
Right.
But whether or not they would after more songs,
now
probably don't know.
My family dynamic is different, but you learn
mostly inbreeding.
Right, there's a lot of inbreeding. So, you learn certain things from...
And because you're the sole white person.
I'm the
Sorry,
only white person. It's fine.
Keep going.
So,
Yeah.
you ever see the movie The Jerk? It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
So, you learn things in your household, your home, and you're taught a certain... not skills, but things are taught to you, but you learn more when you have outside influences coming into your life. And for this child, this might be the rocker aunt who might introduce them to other things. And I feel like that's how we learn more about the world, because if you're just trapped listening to the stuff your parents are, you won't you'll just be a carbon copy of your parents.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's good to spend time, I used to spend time with my grandparents, so I learned some older music and movies and stuff like that. Or you go to like I said, my older sister or other things like that. So what Judy was basically doing for this kid. Yes, the kid is 4, and I don't know how much is going to sink in. Maybe she could try again when the kid's 12. But I don't think it was really. I think it might be not helping the kid, but it wasn't like she was brainwashing this child with the music or anything like that. I don't know. Did you have any did you have the cool aunt, that family member? Or was
No, I don't think so.
I can tell.
I didn't have anything like that.
Well,
I didn't want any part of them.
You're the cool uncle.
Yeah.
By cool, I mean alternative. You're the alternative uncle.
Yeah.
The board game playing, Weird Al listening, cool uncle.
Yeah, they're not even old enough to care about anything that if when I was a kid, I had an uncle who played video games and knew all about video games and movies, I would think he was the coolest guy ever.
Right.
I would love to have me.
You would have latched on because basically at birth we were just this. This is how we.
These kids don't care. But they don't really even have a concept of knowing. They don't care about movies at all. Right. They kind of know some video games, but I don't know. They don't care. They don't know.
So
they don't think I'm cool.
So with so in general, a 4 to 6 year old, right?
Certainly, they don't care about my music tastes. Yes.
Do you think they care about anybody's music tastes or what movies are on? Because even thinking about when I was 4 to 6, it was put on whatever Disney movie, I'll watch it on repeat until the tape breaks. I didn't have taste in that young. That I felt built up once I was in school.
When did that build up for you?
Oh, about last week.
Okay, I was wondering when it would kick in.
But then I lost my taste again with COVID. It's fine.
I get that. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're starting. 4 is pretty young. You're starting to. It's maybe 6 is when you're really starting to
core memories and
decide what you like versus just what is the shiniest, most colorful thing that you can see. It's tricky. This is a really tricky one for me. I think something else to consider is that often what is considered to be edgy music becomes less edgy as time goes on.
Right.
We live in a world where an Eminem song was used in a Minions trailer.
Right.
Which at one point was seen as satanic.
Right.
So, and of course it's the radio edit, but generally speaking, I think Slipknot still does have kind of a power of being edgy. I mean, you heard the lyrics.
Right.
But, I don't know. It certainly doesn't seem as aggressively inappropriate as it probably did 20 years ago when it was horrible, terrible.
Well,
no one should listen to that.
That's the case because things were more confined back then. You couldn't, we had cable TV where it's even the worst cable channel was Comedy Central, and they made they couldn't say curse words majorly, or South Park was big back then because they were pushing the limits, whereas now it's a kid's watching South Park and it's this is nothing. What do you
I mean, it's everything. Back, standards change. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn was a big deal. Right. And here we are dropping the D bomb every other word in our episodes.
Which, darn it.
Douche.
What'd you call me? Yeah. So I definitely think because it's starting to widen that we are trusting a little bit more of our kids, and we're not, as a nation, for now, depending on the next election, we're not censoring everything like they were when we were younger, be it our parents censoring stuff or just like literally the government and the TV channels, because there was such a small window of content places to get content. Like, now with the internet having everything, which is kind of what we grew up with, it's kind of like, well, okay, my mom says I can't listen to this song. Bup, bup, bup. I found that song. I could just listen to it while I'm on my ride to school, or, listen to it on somebody else's phone, which has unlocked accounts or whatever. So it's very easy to get stuff. And I feel like it's just not desensitized a lot of people, but it's like, okay, whatever. Like that kind of thing. So I don't think like, maybe the worst Slipknot song might not be child friendly, but like, she didn't like play the kid like, straight up porn. It wasn't.
It sounds like you're walking into a verdict right now. Is what it sounds
I am.
like. I think you should.
Let me get my gavel. So what are we? Who? Where? Why? Is
We're
Judy...
judging. We're judging Judy.
Oh,
just realized that. For playing or wanting for playing one song and wanting to play more Slipknot for her four-year-old nephew.
Sure, it's not month.
I'm sure.
So Judy. I don't think Judy has done anything wrong, as long as, and we got some information, evidence, if you will, that the song is semi-clean. Maybe not the most child-friendly song in the world. It's not, Barney. Is Barney still a thing?
He's coming back, I think.
Oh, so it's not, it wasn't like the most family-friendly song in the world, but it wasn't like, a terrible song that this kid's, going around and doing terrible things. And I think it's good at certain ages to just kind of like open and broaden. And the parents never really said, how dare you play that? Don't play this for my kid. Don't do this. It was weird. And your kids should be a little weird. They're kids. So I don't think Judy is guilty of doing really anything wrong. Maybe she was guilty of not getting approval first from the parent, but Judy is not guilty of anything.
Well, we'll see you next week, folks.
Oh, shit.
Oh, sorry, I blacked out for a minute.
That's fine.
Did I not give my verdict?
No, you didn't.
Whew.
Are you
I think
okay?
I've lost time. An alien.
You listening to Slipknot?
That must be what it is. Slipknot, by the way, what is that? Like a noose? Is that like how a knot you tie for when you're hanging yourself or something? Is that what that means?
I wouldn't know. I was not raised that way.
Okay.
I mean, there is a slip knot that's like, it's a self-tightening knot. So I guess so. Yes.
It's probably what it means, right? Yeah. That's probably what that is. A reference to.
Maybe they're sailors. They like knots.
That might be what it is.
Knots land. They're big fans of Don Knotts.
Oh. And he does a lot of pratfalls, so he slips.
Does. Yep. That's what they used to call him.
Let me talk a little about Judy as I give my verdict here.
I thought you said Judaism.
let me bring Judaism into this. As a good Jewish woman,
which you are.
Okay, It's tricky because I do think that it is a strange choice to play Slipknot or any equivalent heavy metal music for a 4-year-old kid. I do think that's weird. I do think it's too early for them to probably appreciate it or understand it or care about it, first of all, let alone whether or not it's appropriate. I don't think they're even going to understand or care what you're doing. It's just a weird idea to be like, this is cool. Let me play. But I don't know. I guess I think it is because of the content. It has to be partially the content of the lyrics and the tone of the music, which is very aggressive and negative and angry, as opposed to like Beatles or the Grateful Dead or whatever. Like it's not that it's you shouldn't play adult music for them, quote unquote. I don't, just like music's not for kids. There is something specifically. Where's the handle for it? There it is. There is something specifically like this. Even if you don't understand the lyrics, I do think even just listening to it, there are vibes in there that are angsty and thrashy and that could kind of affect a kid. Now, that's not like you know, she's not playing it. She's not like strapping this kid to a chair, blaring it through speakers 24/7. It's like you play one song. I don't know what the context is either of her playing this song. Like, were they in the car? Was she like, hey, little Johnny, sit down and listen to this? And then she like stared at the kid while she's playing the song. Like what are they doing?
No, you're right. Yeah, we don't know what the context was.
Hey, I heard you like Baby Shark. Well, check this out. It is weird. But so like emotionally, by the spirit of it, I feel like, yeah, that's like, don't do that. Like, you just don't need to do that. I don't know why you're doing that. But like, by the letter of the law.
Oh, we are lawyers.
And we are judges, and well, we minored in lawyer.
Right.
So we have a lot of expertise. If we're looking at this technical level, as you said, the parents, at no point have the parents said, don't do this. If that happened, then it's like, immediately you respect what the parents want. That's absolutely fine.
That's what we believe in this show.
We love parents.
Love parents.
Put them back in.
They don't understand, though.
But that didn't happen. Like, the worst she's got so far is like kind of a funny look or something.
Right.
And she did say a non-explicit song. So that also, I think, adds in her favor. And I think the fact that she's like, she's worried about it at least, shows that she's not just jumping into this without giving any thought to it at all.
Where's he going to go with this?
I really am kind of split, and I sort of feel like it is weird to do, but again, I think the deal breaker for me is the fact that the parents have not said no. I think because that hasn't happened, and they're aware of it. It's not like she's doing this behind closed doors. Right. It's not like, only when the kid's at my house
sneaking
do we play
headphones
Slipknot
on the kid and just hiding in a closet.
Yeah, like they were there. They could have easily just said, "Hey, just don't do that," and they didn't do that.
Didn't do it.
So I kind of want to I guess I gotta give like a soft not guilty. I almost want to split it and be like it's a mistrial. Because it does feel, I do feel weird about it, but it's like when you get down to it.
I hear what you're saying, because like, yes, it was like technically like it was a family room environment, I guess. I don't know what this wasn't like hey, we're in my car, or this might have just been like, hey, Aunt Judy is playing the music today. I chose this song. It's not terrible, but it's not, this might just be her this might just be her thing.
Yeah. So, I'm going to say not guilty.
Softer?
Yeah.
Thank you.
A
nice limp not guilty.
It's tough, because I do think there is a point where they can, also this aunt Judy's only 20 years old, which is also kind of young.
And also kind of young to be listening to Slipknot, I feel like, too. I don't know. I feel like Slipknot's...
like they're not appropriate for a 20-year-old?
Oh, no, it's an older, that seems like older music at this point.
They're probably still making albums. I don't know.
I'm sure they are, but...
Anyway. But I also kind of give a little more slack for... It's like she's not a parent. It's like she is, like... She's not just trying to be the cool aunt. Like, she's young. Like, she probably is cool.
Right.
She's cooler than anyone our age by default.
She's just she's just playing the songs that she listens to, and your kid's there.
Yeah. So I don't like whether or not what she did was necessarily right or wrong. I don't feel like she's trying to. I don't think she's doing anything. I don't think she's a bad person.
Grooming this child. Yeah.
Dear Lord. Which means we do have to now punish the parents. That's how our show works.
I love it.
They're in the wrong here.
I mean, we could go with the very simple, the obvious, that they have to go to a Slipknot concert. They have to. I mean, hey,
with their kid,
their parents might like Slipknot. We don't know, but they have to go to a Slipknot concert. Is the easy one. But what would be? They have to become Slipknot. They have to put on the mask. They have to replace them. They have to do the some of the tour. They have to replace Slipknot.
They need to learn 3 Slipknot songs. Mm-hmm. They can choose one of them on guitar, one of them on vocals. That's fine.
Okay.
And they need to rehearse a routine. They need to do a mini set list, like a tiny desk concert.
Right.
Which Slipknot should do if they haven't done already.
They should. Why not?
for the 4-year-old kid
Mhm.
and Aunt Judy as well.
Right. Yeah, and they have to get rated either thumbs up or thumbs down. Are there any Slipknot songs on any good Guitar Hero rock bands?
Oh yeah, I think People Equal Shit is on there.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's what they have to do. They have to make their own little Slipknot,
Typing noises.
and they have to perform for the next family function, the next birthday party for all the children, and they have to do full costume, and they just have to learn.
Yeah, there are a few Guitar Hero songs, Slipknot songs in Guitar Hero.
Okay, so there you go. They have to bring it back to the geekiness. They have to play those songs only on Guitar Hero.
Sure, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Psychosocial is one of them.
Okay. Do we know?
Hey,
did we say what song she played?
If they can, no, we didn't know that.
We didn't
If
know.
they can play the songs in Guitar Hero, like you were saying about the radio edit, they
Right.
can't be that bad because they edit out the stuff.
Right.
That's why
Anyway.
I think the not guilty is correct, even
Yeah.
though it's iffy.
Right.
All right. Well, let us know what you think, listeners and viewers, because maybe you have a different opinion than us. Maybe you're a big Slipknot head. Maybe you're a big. Hold on. Maybe you're a big steady, untied foot. It's the opposite of a Slipknot head. You can email us, geeksontrial@gmail.com, or you can leave a comment if you're watching us on YouTube. And you can also email us about your own personal disputes that you have from the world of geeky music, gaming, movies, or other. We'd love to hear about your little niff-naffs that you have between you, your friends, your loved ones, yourselves, your strangers, from the geeky subcultures that exist in the world today. There's also a form you can click to fill out some stuff there if it's easier for you.
Some stuff. And hey, if you want to help us get some stuff ourselves, and maybe that could be the next Slipknot album or tickets to a Slipknot concert, head on over to patreon.com/geeksontrial, and that's $5 a month. With that $5 a month, you gain early access to both our audio and video episodes, plus you gain Geeks on Trial Sidebar. It comes out twice a month. It's us talking and having fun and enjoying ourselves. The robes are off. We are disrobed, and we're just sitting over there slipping the knots. And hey, Jonathan, when you're not listening and enjoying a nice glass of wine and the newest Slipknot song, where can people find you on the internet?
I don't know if wine is the Slipknot drink of choice.
Blood?
Absinthe and blood.
Or
just
bleach?
Just acid, maybe. Yeah. Take that as you will.
Man.
Well, I'd love it if people followed me online at my website, jonathanestes.com. Blue Sky is popping off right now. They got a lot of new people over there at Quince on Blue Sky. Or if you like Nintendo stuff, we talked about Nintendo this week. Check out gonintendo.com. I wrote up a preview of the new Mario and Luigi game over there and some other stuff too. So check that out. How about you, Ivan?
You can find me over at myname.com. That's ivanhan.com. And you can also find me on Blue Sky, YouTube, and all the other fun places out there. Snack Guy is my main show right now. It's youtube.com/thesnackguy. And until next time, I'm ivanhan.com.
I'm jonathanestes.edu.
Oh.
In this case, oh yeah, you better believe we done closed it.